Well, hello there everybody and welcome to today's video. In this one today I'm going to be ranking all 10 challenges in Jurassic World Evolution 2, and at the time of making this video I have just scooped my 22nd world record for Jurassic World Evolution 2 speedrunning. And that also includes being the world record holder for all 10 Jurassic challenges in the game as well. So hopefully that puts me in a good position to rank all 10 of the challenges from worst to best. Also coming very soon will be my ultimate guide for all of the Jurassic challenges, so if you haven't done already, please hit that subscribe button, much appreciated, and thank you very much. So of these 10 challenges we have Canada, Germany, UK, Northwest USA, Southwest USA, Jurassic Park San Diego, Sorna Site B, Jurassic World and Return to Isla Nublar. I will also be scoring all of these challenges based upon playing them on Jurassic difficulty. The way I'll be scoring these challenges will be based upon 4 different criteria. Firstly will be difficulty. I will be awarding a maximum of 10 points for difficulty. Fairly self-explanatory just how difficult the challenge is, and a maximum of 10 points can be awarded for that. The next criteria will be uniqueness, and I will be awarding up to 5 points for that. Uniqueness is simply just how different the challenge is from other challenges and other game modes that distinguish it as something all of its own. The next criteria I will be awarding points for will be length of challenge. There will be up to 5 points awarded for this, and it is exactly what it says. So essentially from my record speedruns, if it's taken over 3 hours, I'm going to give 5 points. Over 2.5 hours, I'll give 4 points. Over 2 hours, 3 points. Over 1 hour, 2 points. And under an hour, just 1 point. And the fourth and final criteria will be overall fun, and I'm awarding up to 10 points for that. That will factor in all kinds of interesting and fun stuff that the game throws at you, different objectives and different conditions that the challenge takes place under. Extra points will be awarded for stuff that is fun, and obviously points will be deducted for stuff that is not fun or irritating, and I will go into depth with each of the challenges as to what I find fun or not fun about those challenges. So 10 points for that. So across all 4 criteria there is a maximum of 30 points to be awarded. And real quick again, just before we get into the list, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'm covering Jurassic World Evolution 2 all the time, speed runs, mods, guides, all kinds of stuff to do with the game. So yeah, if you like Jurassic World Evolution 2, it's well worth subscribing to the channel. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like button as well. That's enough about that. Let's get into the list. In 10th place then we have Jurassic Park San Diego. This is one of the 5 that was introduced with the Dominion Biosyn DLC update. And for this one we'll start off with a difficulty of 3. This one, even on Jurassic difficulty, is an absolute breeze. All of the dinosaurs you need on this challenge are actually airlifted in waves, so you don't need to really do any dinosaur genomes or expeditions or anything like that. I think you actually can, but you don't need to even on Jurassic. So yeah, very easy, 3 out of 10 on the difficulty. As for uniqueness then, out of 5 I'm going to give this 4. It is very different from the other challenges, and you know, I do like the way it's mixed up a little bit with the dinosaurs being airlifted in. Like I say, it doesn't add up to much difficulty, but it's definitely unique and fun in its own kind of way for that reason. And for length, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5. Bearing in mind 1 out of 5 is under 1 hour, and my world record speedrun on this was like just under 28 minutes, I believe. It's a very, very quick challenge, but still rather good nonetheless. I did enjoy it. So we will get on to the overall fun stat next, and for this I'm giving it 7 out of 10. Now if we take 5 out of 10 being actually quite fun, 7 out of 10 is quite a good rating for this. I do really enjoy the challenge, but like I say, the problem is it's not very difficult, not very long, but it is quite unique and fun the way it's all set out. And yeah, if you're going to start Jurassic Challenges, probably a good place to begin. It's probably the best beginner challenge, but that gives it an overall score of 15 out of 30. In 9th place then we have Southwest USA. Now this is the last of the 5 original challenges, so in theory It should be one of the hardest, but from playing this numerous times on Jurassic difficulty, it's actually quite simple, and I only used about half the map. A lot of players on this would kind of complain that it's a bit too tight and the map is split into numerous smaller sections, but it's not really an issue if you lay your park out well, so I'm going to give this a difficulty of 5 out of 10. In terms of uniqueness, I'm only going to give this a 3 out of 5. That's not bad. There are a few other things gameplay wise that mix it up, including at the very beginning you start off with very low cash, and there is wild dinosaurs all across the map which you can choose to round up and put in enclosures or sell them off. So I would recommend selling a few of them off. I'm not going to say which ones, play it however you like. But there is other stuff as well. There are a maximum of 6 power stations, which mixes things up a little bit. And you can't upgrade your buildings either. So it does just enough to differentiate itself and get a uniqueness score of 3. In terms of length then, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 on my speedrun. It took over 2 hours to complete this. So it's on the medium side of long challenges, but 3 out of 5, enough said about that. And overall fun, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. The reason being, like I say, it's quite a long challenge, the difficulty is not too high, and there's not that much majorly that changes things up from other challenges as well. So 5 out of 10 for this then on overall fun is definitely by no means a bad score. It's about average, and that gives Southwest USA a total of 16 out of 30. In 8th place then we have Canada. Now, most people, this will be the one that they played first, because you need to play this one to start unlocking the others. And consider this kind of the baseline of what to expect from Jurassic Challenges. You know, cash is low, there's one wild dinosaur on the map, research is high, staff salaries are high, rest times are long. Just a general set of conditions as a starter challenge or an introduction to the challenge mode. But with that being said, from numerous playthroughs of this, I'm going to give this a difficulty of 7 out of 10. This one is quite tough. It demands quite a lot. The ratings needed for your park are quite high. Along with the storms, them snowstorms are brutal, and if you do not disable your power stations, you will be losing a lot of money during them storms. They come in frequently and they last for minutes upon minutes, even at triple speed. So if you didn't know that already, just disable your power stations, and even with that I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 difficulty. It is quite tough. As for uniqueness, however, I'm giving this a 2 out of 5. Now, bear in mind there is a Brachiosaurus on the map, which really does help in the early game. It changes it up a little bit, just where to place that Brachie and utilise it the most effective. But other than that, it is considered just to be the most generic of challenges. No other real special conditions to talk of, so 2 out of 5 for uniqueness. In terms of length then, this challenge gets a 3 out of 5. It takes over 2 hours to complete, or it took me over 2 hours to complete anyway on Jurassic difficulty. 3 out of 5 it is. And overall fun, this one gets a 5 out of 10. Like I say, that's about average. The storms take too long, in my opinion. They shouldn't take that long. You can literally just leave the game on triple speed, disable your power stations, you can walk away for several minutes, and you come back, your dinosaurs have all got hypothermia, and that happens every few minutes. It's frustratingly difficult in a bad way. It's not a very fun mechanic when you literally can't do nothing for minutes at a time on triple speed. So it's been marked down a little bit. If it wasn't for them extremely long storms, I'd probably give this a 7, but the storms kind of take away from it. So that gives Canada a total of 17. Up next then, in 7th place, we have Germany. Now, Germany is an interesting one. You can only have nature and luxury guests. No carnivores at all on Jurassic either. You can have lagoons and aviaries, but no carnivores. You need 100% genome to actually hatch a dinosaur as well. No genome mods. Severe disease risk, only 1 staff centre, a maximum of 10 species. So you can tell from this that I quite enjoyed the challenge straight away. But for difficulty, I'm giving it 5 out of 10. It's not that tough. Once you've actually progressed a little bit, sell your less rated dinosaurs and actually get better ones, you know. So 5 out of 10 difficulty. Them storms are not too bad. There's ways to mitigate harsh storms, but 5 out of 10, you know, it's a fair challenge, but not the hardest, not by any stretch. For uniqueness, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Obviously, it's the herbivore only challenge and all the other things are listed before. 3 out of 5. It's fair to middling on uniqueness. It's fairly similar to other challenges, but the fact is you can't use herbivores or gene mods, and you're limited to 10 species. So it does change up the way you have to play. 3 out of 5 it is for that. In terms of length then, this is getting 4 out of 5. It took me over 2.5 hours to complete. And overall fun, once again, this is getting a 5 out of 10. Although it is herbivore only, it is a bit unique and changes things up a little bit. There are other challenges which are a lot more fun. So 5 out of 10 is not a bad score, like I say, but that gives Germany 17 out of 30. Now, I know Canada got 17 out of 30 as well, but I didn't want 2 in the same place, and I decided Germany was just a little bit better. If it comes down to the wire, I'm deciding which one's better. So 17 out of 30 for Germany puts it in 7th place. Up next then, in 6th place, we have UK. We'll start off with the conditions of this one then. You start off on 0 cash. There's a whole number of wild dinosaurs. Scientists are unskilled, sabotage risk is high, terrain editing costs are high. I don't know why that's a thing because you don't really need to terrain edit in challenge mode. Severe storm risks and a maximum of 2 staff centres. So straight away let's get into the difficulty. I'm giving this 6 out of 10. If it wasn't for starting on 0 cash, this one would be a difficulty of about 3 or 4. But if you don't know what you're doing early on, in terms of what buildings to sell, what dinosaurs to sell, cash in the beginning is so tight. And I had numerous restarts, failing over and over again until I found the right combo of stuff to sell. But once you've got past the first kind of 10 minutes of this challenge and you've managed to actually get yourself established and some dinosaurs into enclosures, the difficulty really eases up. Storms are not too much of an issue either. No tornadoes, we don't really get them in the UK. So 6 out of 10 difficulty is alright. Beginning, it's probably about a 9 out of 10, but the rest of the challenge is about a 3, so it balances out at about a 6. For uniqueness, I'm going to give this a 3. There's nothing that really majorly differentiates it. You've got 3 major build areas, but other than that, 3 out of 5 is middle of the road. It does stand out a little bit because you start off with no money, but 3 out of 5. And the wild dinosaurs are fun as well. In terms of length, it took me over 2 hours to complete this, so it gets 3 out of 5 on that. And overall fun, I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. It's one of the very few challenges where it actually demands that you actually round up wild dinosaurs in the beginning. You have to actually progress anywhere past the beginning of this challenge. And I do actually quite like that. It's one of the few challenges that does that. So 6 out of 10 on overall fun, just a little bit above average, giving UK challenge 18 out of 30. Very nice. And we have now reached 5th place. We're into the better half of the challenges. And in 5th place we have Jurassic World. Once again, this is one of the newer ones added with the Dominion Biosyn update. And for this one, the new species bonus is low. Dinosaurs can have both the intelligent and fussy traits, both or either or none. Storms and diseases are severe, and the staff salary is extreme. So straight away, let's talk about the difficulty of this one, which I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, if you've completed the Jurassic World Chaos Theory, it is extremely similar, apart from the fact that dinosaurs have the intelligent and fussy traits and all that good stuff. But the requirements to actually get to the threshold of 5-star in this challenge are rather high. And in all honesty, I'm quite surprised I managed to finish this in the time that I did. I think I must have got lucky with some of the objectives, set balance to 5 million and 1 million every time I try and hatch Strufes and and whatnot, you know, from one of the eggs. So difficulty may need to be higher for some people or less. It's quite luck based on this one, but 7 out of 10 is definitely a good summation of the difficulty of Jurassic World Jurassic Challenge. For uniqueness, once again, this is going to get a 3 out of 5. It's middle of the road, very similar to Jurassic World Chaos Theory without the Mosasaur and Indominus objectives. And other than the conditions I listed earlier, yeah, it's middle of the road, 3 out of 5 for uniqueness. Doesn't do anything too spectacular. In terms of length then, this is going to get a 3 out of 5. I managed to complete this in over 2 hours, but less than 2.5 hours. So middle of the road with the 3 out of 5 length as well. And overall fun, this is going to get a 6, slightly above the 5 average. And the reason why it gets just a little bit over the average is that it takes everything that you like about the gameplay and the challenge of the challenge modes and just ramps it up. Yeah, you get all kinds of stuff thrown at you. There's no real massive irritations on this, and if you do want just like probably the purest challenge in the game, it's going to be the Jurassic World Challenge. And that gives it a total of 19 out of 30. Moving swiftly onto the 4th place then is Return to Isla Nublar, another one of the newer challenges. And we'll start by talking about the conditions of this map. You start with 0 money. There's existing buildings and fencing and dinosaurs all over the place. There is an expandable play boundary, so you start off in quite a small area. Then once you get to a certain star rating, around 2 stars I believe, you get a bigger bit of the park and more wild dinosaurs appear. Then when you get to like 3 stars or 3.5 stars, the play boundary unlocks to the full map and even more dinosaurs appear. The hatchery unlock is delayed till around 3 stars I believe. Some dinosaurs have the intelligent trait. Storms and diseases are severe, and staff salary is extreme. So onto the ratings then. For this one, it's getting a difficulty of 8 out of 10. Like I say, you start with 0 money, but not only that, the dinosaurs that appear from the wild have diseases which you have to cure right away because you don't get the hatchery until around 3 stars. So you have to make sure that these dinosaurs stay alive, especially the T-Rex and the Baryonyx that spring out. Spoiler alert, my apologies. If either one of them dies, you can't complete this challenge. And one shows up with rabies and one's got internal bleeding, I believe, that needs to be dealt with very, very quickly. So even during my speedrun, I was using the pause feature to actually make sure things were getting done. So on triple speed, they'd end up dying. The challenge is not completable. Not only that, the way the enclosures are laid out can be quite awkward as well. I know there's pre-existing infrastructure. The main aim of this is to actually fix it all up. So if you have a way you like to play on challenge or chaos theory or anything like that, throw that out the window because you need to be fixing up what's already there instead of making your own enclosures. Later in the challenge you do need to make your own enclosures and hatch your own dinosaurs, but you really have to deal with what's there and know what dinosaurs are doing what. Otherwise you will fail this, and I failed this numerous times during my speedrun attempts. For uniqueness, this is getting a 4 out of 5. It's very different to the other challenges. 4 out of 5 is a very, very fair score for this. I'd love to give it a 5, but another one is even more unique than this, so I can't give it a 5. But 4 out of 5 on uniqueness. Obviously, you got the wild dinosaurs. The way sections of the park unlock like that is only seen in one other challenge. And obviously, you got the pre-existing buildings, fences, dinosaurs, everything like that. You really need to know what you're doing, and 4 out of 5 uniqueness it is for that. Length of challenge, however, I'm going to give a 2 out of 5. I think my time on this was like 1 hour 48 or something like that. So over an hour to complete. It's on the shorter side of the Jurassic Challenges. There's only one other that's shorter than this in terms of how quickly I managed to complete them. So 2 out of 5 for length. And overall fun, this is getting a 7 out of 10. It really does mix things up. And like I say, I love fair difficulty. And this one is difficult, but it's fair. Stern but fair on the difficulty, and lots going on to deal with as well. You really have to mix up your play style for this, and 7 out of 10 is definitely the right score for this in my opinion. So that gives it a grand total of 21 out of 30. On to 3rd place then, we have the Jurassic Park Challenge, another one of the new 5 that was introduced with the Dominion Biosyn DLC, part of the free update. And on this one you start on fairly low cash, pre-existing buildings and fences and dinosaurs. Now there is disloyal scientists on this. It's the only challenge with disloyal scientists, and we will talk about that a bit later on. Some dinosaurs have the intelligent trait, severe storm risks and extreme staff salary, as we've come to expect. In terms of difficulty then, this one is getting 7 out of 10. Slightly above average on the difficulty. Like I say, the requirements to complete this are quite high. The staff disloyalty thing, essentially every time you use scientists for an action, There is the sabotage risk that increases, which can do things like disable your electric fences, guest protests, and also open your gates from time to time. So make sure to triple gate to lower the difficulty on this. If you're not using triple gates, this gets a 9 out of 10. But if you know what you're doing, 7 out of 10 is the rating that I'm giving it. For the uniqueness rating then, I'm giving this 4 out of 5. Like I said before, it's the only one with the disloyal scientists. You start off with a predetermined set of dinosaurs as well, and buildings and fences and things like that, which few other challenges do. Obviously the newer ones do it more than the older ones, but 4 out of 5 on uniqueness is well deserved for this. Definitely different to any other kind of challenge, so 4 out of 5 is very fair. And in terms of length, 4 out of 5 for this took me over 2.5 hours to complete, so it's on the longer side of the challenges, and you'll have fun all the way with this one. So the overall fun rating for this is 7 out of 10. If you know how to mitigate them disloyal scientists, you'll have a lot more fun. Triple gates are necessary. Quadruple gate if you can. In the footage you'll probably see me triple gating everything. But that brings us up to a grand total of 22 out of 30 for the extremely fun and challenging Jurassic Park challenge. On to second place then, we have Northwest USA. And this is one of the original 5 challenges that launched with the game, so don't be expecting intelligent or fussy traits. But this one really mixes it up because from the beginning there is only a small selection of carnivores and a couple of small herbivores that you can have. On Jurassic difficulty especially, small herbivores are very limited, and carnivore feeders and live prey feeders for your carnivores only unlock at 2.5 stars. I'll get into more about why that makes it difficult in a moment. You're also limited to a maximum of 5 emergency shelters on what is essentially a carnivore orientated map. You can see why that would make things a bit challenging. So straight away for difficulty, I'm giving this 9 out of 10. If you don't push early on to get to 2.5 stars to get your feeders for your carnivores, which are likely to be Ceratosaurus and possibly Carnotaurus, if you don't push early on to get them 2.5 stars, you literally have to constantly keep hatching Struffies. And as soon as them Struffies run out, your carnivores are going to break out. All hell breaks loose. And this one is tough. The requirements to beat this are high. This is one of, if not the hardest challenge in the game. Now, I will be honest, 9 out of 10, this one is a toughie, so you'll have to use all of your knowledge for this one. Not only that, but the 5 emergency shelters as well will have to be very strategically placed, otherwise you'll have a massive penalty to your appeal rating just because your park does not have the necessary emergency shelters. Space them out as evenly as you possibly can, which is tough on such a large and demanding map. In terms of uniqueness then, I'm giving this 4 out of 5. No other challenge plays like this just because of the no feeders until 2.5 stars. And you're literally dealing with carnivores only all the way through this. Yes, you can get Dryosaurs and Struffios and things like that and Gallimimus, but you'll only be using them to probably get your species variety penalty up, but other than that it's large and small carnivores all the way, which is very fun, very thrilling for your guests of course. But 4 out of 5 for uniqueness. No other challenge plays like this. For length then, this is getting a 5 out of 5. It took me over 3 hours to complete this, and that was using the hatchery glitch as well, where you can hatch other stuff from between hatcheries and stuff. So yeah, and as you can see in the footage, if that's the bit that the clip that I've used, you can see that I've got a pool of Tylosaurs, about 30 million worth of Tylosaurs, all diseased and everything, just to boost my park rating up. And I ended up with a hotel with like 62,000 appeal or something, so it looked onto this Tylosaurus pool with about 30 Tylosaurus in. Right, I'll stop saying Tylosaurus now. But the length could have possibly been longer if I weren't using exploits. Yeah, the game allows you to use them exploits, but without that, I'd probably make this a 6 if it went up to that, or I'd probably make it 6 even if it wasn't allowed. This one is a long challenge. Be prepared for a long sit down when you take this on. And overall fun, this one's getting a 7 out of 10. Like I say, the difficulty is high, it's a long challenge, and it plays differently to the other challenges as well. But overall fun, obviously you've got a very long slog there's storms, there's all kinds of other things you got to deal with. I know that that's part of the difficulty rating, but in terms of overall fun, this one can feel a bit too long, I will be honest. And if I wasn't using them exploits, it would have maybe dragged on a bit too long. And at that point where you've got all the map filled with carnivores, you know, that get annoyed at the slightest of things, especially some of the later carnivores. Even a storm will make the velociraptors angry and try and break out. So unless you've got the best fences, which you can't unlock until quite late in the game, you know, you've got to balance everything here. And to somebody who's new to the game, this challenge is not for them. Not on Jurassic difficulty anyway. Play it on easy or medium. But Northwest USA, overall, with all them scores, and I do like a good difficult challenge, that's why I've awarded more points for difficulty. But this one gets 23 out of 30. I really love this challenge, and if I'm going to replay a challenge after this video, it'll probably be Northwest USA. I'm going to be honest and try it without the exploit, you know, to see just how difficult and long it actually will be. Okay, but second place for Northwest USA is most deserved. I love this challenge. And on to first place then, you may have been able to guess which one it is from eliminating all of the others. We have the Jurassic Park 3 themed Isla Sorna Site B challenge. Once again, this is one of the 5 that was added with the Dominion Biosyn update. And the listed conditions for this one is massive tour area, photo rewards high, storm risk severe, disease risk severe, and salaries extreme. So straight away, let's get into the difficulty of this one, which I'm giving 9 out of 10. Other people may debate me on this. Feel free to weigh in the comments as always, and I'll respond as soon as I can. But 9 out of 10 on difficulty for this one. The main objective on this one is to build essentially one massive safari across the entire park. You start off with quite a small area of park, and that is split into smaller areas that you can build in. The rest of it, you've got like a wild area where you can't build much. You can build power lines and tour tracks. That's about it. And you can put certain scenery items down as well, which makes it very tough. In them small little enclaves of buildable area, you have to cram everything in. All your operations, buildings, hatcheries, your amenities, everything to keep your guests happy, power stations, all of that. So you really do have to plan ahead all the time. And I restarted this quite a few times. I'd say at least 5 or 6 times, just because I'd not planned correctly at the beginning of the challenge. Just trial and error trying to get this done. And even as you progress, it gets more and more tough because diseases are on extreme. So in that safari, diseases spread like wildfire, and you can generally only have 1, maybe 2 vet units for the entire park. It is tough. I'm not going to be you know, playing this down. I had a lot of difficulty with this in a fun way. Definitely fun, but 9 out of 10 on difficulty. This is not for beginners, the Jurassic Challenge on this. Definitely not. One little tip I'll give you is when you unlock the later areas as well, it's kind of split into 3 areas that unlock as you get a higher rating. You can use scenery items like rocks to kind of partially wall them off. And I actually used the scenery rocks to create kind of like a enclosure into itself for Suchomimus in one corner of the park. So one little tip is to use the rocks very, very effectively to keep dinosaurs where they need to be. Without that, it would be 10 out of 10. There's no doubt, because how else would you manage to contain your carnivores, because you've only got a few places where you could build enclosures potentially. Next up then, we're talking about uniqueness. This is like no other challenge. This is getting 5 out of 5 straight away. Like I said before, if I could give this a 6, I would, but it goes up to 5. With this one, it really does embody the true spirit of a Jurassic safari. That is all you can do, a safari, and it plays like no other challenge, even more so than Northwest USA. That's why Northwest USA was a 4, and this is a 5. You'll have a lot of fun with this, especially on lower difficulties. If you're not sure, try on lower difficulties, but Jurassic Challenge on this, it's unique and difficult. It's going to wipe you out if you don't know what you're doing. Restarts are probable. I was going to say possible, but I'll say probable, especially when you first start playing this. In terms of length then, this is getting 4 out of 5. It took me over 2.5 hours to complete. Don't get me wrong, they were some good 2.5 hours. And overall fun, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. Now, I would be giving this a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 if it wasn't for the recent changes to how transport teams work. Generally on this, you'll only have one hatchery and you have to airlift all your dinosaurs into certain places. A recent change in update 4 actually changed how all that worked and significantly slowed it down. I made a video about it. I'm not exactly happy about how it goes down. So playing this on update 3 before that happened, if I played it on that update, I probably would have given this a 9 or a 10. But because of that transport team slowdown, which is excruciatingly slow on this challenge, I have to mark it down 1 or 2. So 8 out of 10 on overall fun. This one is going to test all of your knowledge on the dinosaurs, the buildings, cramped placement as well for all your buildings. This will put every bit of your Jurassic World Evolution 2 knowledge to the test. So 9 difficulty, 5 uniqueness, 4 out of 5 for length, and 8 out of 10 for overall fun. Gives this a total of 26 out of 30. By far the funnest challenge in the game, in my opinion. Now, of course, you've heard me rattle along for quite a while about what parts I like about the challenges, what I found difficult, what was good, what was bad, how short they were, the totals, you know, and the order that was done. And I'd love to turn this into a conversation, so let me know your thoughts about this list in the comments down below. I'd love to have a chat with you, and I'll respond as quickly as I possibly can. Let me know which ones you found more difficult, less difficult, which ones were more fun, less fun, if you think the order should be different. Make your own list in the comments and we'll have a good chat. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, please, you know, I've only said it once or twice at the beginning. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video as well. Soon to hit 10k, hopefully, subs, and I honestly never thought this channel would get close to that. You know, about 2 years ago, this channel had like 70 subs and I hadn't uploaded for nearly 3 years. And in the space of 2 years, took it from that to what it is now. And I have everybody who supports this channel to thank for that. So please consider subscribing for more Jurassic World Evolution 2 and other gaming related content like this. And yeah, I can't thank you enough if you do hit that subscribe button and the like button for me as well. And hopefully I'll catch you all in the comments down below. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I want to wish you all a great day or night wherever you are. Much love, stay safe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.